Welcome to today's live. I'm excited about this discussion because this is something that I find all too often is the disconnect of why you're not seeing progress with your finances. Many different layers, but this is the key for you to get crystal clear on where you're going so that you can start seeing progress. Welcome back. If you're new to me, my name is Ashika Ma'at. I'm a financial coach and the founder of Jama Wealth Financial, and I help high earners keep more cash in their pockets so they can position it to wealth and create a life of freedom and ease. So I have YouTube over here, Instagram on this screen. As you guys are joining in, drop and let me know where you are watching from. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you're watching the replay, feel free to drop your questions in the comments as well. And that helps me see different ideas of what I can do to create more content to help you on your journey. All right, so we're going to get into it today because I believe that this is one of those areas where the disalignment comes from with where you actually are with your finances and where you desire to be. So I'm going to walk through 3 steps of how you can get focused on your vision and start mapping out the journey to getting you to your financial goals. Okay. All right. So the first question I want you to think about is taking an assessment of your finances right now. What's happening in your life today? The reason I asked you this is because this is what's going to give you the insights as to what's really going on. Why are you truly not able to see progress with your finances, so that we can kind of dig deep here. So when you're thinking about this question, I want you to look at what are the things in your life right now that you are just not happy with, right? What is the situation? Is it your job? Is it the lack of time that you have? Is it your inability to actually see progress with your savings and investment goals? These are the questions that you want to explore because it's going to give you great insights as to what may be happening with your finances and why you're not able to see that progress forward. Okay. And then the other thing that I want you to look at is how is your energy towards money? And what I mean by that is, how do you show up when it comes to money? Is money something for you that is a source of overwhelm? Is it a source of like, okay, I know I have the money, but I just don't feel like I am using it the way that I desire to use it? Or maybe you feel like it's just straight up overwhelming, right? Again, the point of these questions is really to help you uncover these things, right? Because that is step 1. Step 1 is you really getting clear on what's happening in your life right now. So as you ask yourself these questions, the goal is for you to, whether journaling it out, I know I've shared with you guys before, I love to do a good voice journal and just talk through my thoughts of what's happening. Because what you are going to want to do on this journey is really sit with yourself, right? Sit with yourself and really get honest with what is it that you're doing on this journey that's preventing you from moving forward. Okay. Think about what's not working. What is it that you're doing that you feel that is not working right now? What's draining your energy? I know as a high achiever, one of the things that I had to realize when I was working in corporate was trying to balance the home life and taking care of kids and the household, and then showing up as a leader at work and managing a global team. All of those things became a bit overwhelming because I'm draining my energy, partly because, as kind of a sidestep story here, partly because of a lack of boundaries that were in place, right? And I've talked about that before in previous videos and lives of how to implement boundaries in your life. So those are the things that you want to look at. What's actually happening right now in your life that you are not okay with? And once you jot that down, then we can move forward with step number 2, and that is designing the life that you want. So when we look at your life and we look at what is it that you actually want, this is where I like to tell you to pick out your magic wand, right? Essentially, you're going to be looking at what life do you want? right? Step one, you've taken a step back. You looked at what's happening in your life. You looked at what you're not okay with. You looked at what you did not like in your life. You looked at what was draining you. Now is the chance for you to start designing. Okay, if you're not okay with this life that you have right now, what is the life that you want to live? And that's going to be you determining, okay, if right now I feel like I'm just, working and toiling and I'm making this good money, but I still don't feel like I'm making any progress. I don't have the financial goals. I've not achieved the financial goals that I desire to achieve. Then that's where you want to look at, okay, well, what I truly want for my life is to have, $30,000 in my freedom fund. I want to have a 6-figure investment portfolio that's growing for me, right? I want to eliminate my debts so that I don't have any debt payments and I can keep more of that cash in my pocket. Those are tangible goals that you can actually achieve on your goal, but it stems from you defining, is that the life that I want? And I know I'm throwing out numbers here, but it is beyond that. It's beyond the numbers for you too, because yes, that's the big picture. But what I want you to ask yourself is, what is achieving those goals going to do for your everyday life? How is that going to help you in your everyday, right? Maybe having that $30,000 in your freedom fund gives you a little bit more calm and ease because you're like, okay, this money here is allowing me to not be so stressed about work because I'm not worried of like, okay, if I lose this, good job with this 6-figure salary, that I'll be okay, right? What does those number milestones mean for you? What is it going to allow you to do or allow you to feel when you are in that space, right? And then the other thing is, what kind of life do you want your money to build? I kind of alluded to that already, but when you think about that life, and don't just think about, like I said, the money aspect of it, but when you wake up in the morning, what does that look like? What do you see yourself doing as the first step in your morning, right? Because when you can embody and put yourself into that space, I can tell you for myself, when I started this wealth journey, yes, I had set a goal that in the next 10 years, I want to achieve $1 million in net worth. But I went even deeper into that. I was looking at, okay, well, what does that mean to me? Okay, so I have $1 million net worth. Okay, what is that actually going to do for me? I was focused on what I wanted it to do. I wanted to have freedom. I wanted to feel like I could be work optional and not having to need a 9-to-5 job. If I choose to want to go back to a 9-to-5, I have that option, but I wanted to be in a place where I had the freedom to explore, right? And this was 7 years ago. 7 years ago, I created this vision of what I wanted for my life. And while, yes, I was laid off from my job, everything that I was working towards, all of the habits and behaviors and things that I was working towards allowed me to be in this step right here, where I am in building this business and helping other women create financial freedom in accordance to what you see financial freedom as for you, right? But that all started with that vision 7 years ago and getting crystal clear on what I wanted my life to look and feel like. And that's what it's going to take for you to really define that for yourself. That's the most important thing. And then once you've defined that life, right? You've defined it, you know what it feels like, you know what it looks like. Now it's time for you to create the plan. You see, the one misstep that I often see is you have this vision for your life, but sometimes too, I think it's not necessarily I would say it's more of you dream about it, right? You dream about this life, but sometimes when you think about that dream, it might seem too grand beyond, you can't fathom, like, is that even possible for me, right? I know when I've asked this question in a coaching session, sometimes I'll get the response of, I don't know, I never really thought about that, right? And so let's think about that for a second. When you are saying to yourself, I want to achieve financial freedom, I want to have debt freedom. While yes, these are some practical numbers, if you don't really define what that looks like and get clear on what it means for you and how your daily life will operate, then it's no wonder that money's coming in and then it's going to all these different things. See, when you are in alignment with the vision you have for your life, when you are in alignment with the values you have for yourself, then you are intentionally taking your income and positioning it to those things that are important to you, right? When you do not have a clear vision for your life, then your money is going to the next emotional whim or whatever's happening in your life at that moment, right? It's just a momentary excitement without any clear thought as to that forward momentum and the vision that you can achieve with the income you have, right? And so that's why it's so important when I talk about vision that it's not just this, all right, I'm gonna write it down, I'm gonna put it on this paper, I'm gonna stick it on my wall, and then I'm gonna leave it alone, right? Sticking it on your wall is great, but you need to have a visual everyday reminder and really have that feeling of, okay, that's something that I see for my life and I'm actively working to achieve it, right? Because step number 3 is you actually making a plan to get there. It's not enough for you to just say, all right, I want financial freedom, I want to be work optional. You actually have to create the plan to get there, right? So I want you to ask yourself, what are the habits and behaviors that you're doing right now that's getting you closer to that vision? And on the flip side, what are the habits and behaviors that are keeping you away from that vision, right? If you want financial freedom and your goal is to get to a point where you have financial freedom, then you need to look at your overall income and expenses and determine how are you going to shift some of the priorities of where you've been spending your money and then directing it towards a life where you can create more freedom. You see that? So again, this step with you planning and then understanding too, where is your money flowing right now? Is it flowing in the direction that's going to give you more freedom? And is your plan clear? Like, 1, do you have a plan that's directing you to your freedom? And then 2, is your plan clear? Meaning, do you know exactly when you're going to achieve that freedom goal, right? When you define freedom for you, I know for myself, my thing was I wanted to have financial freedom, meaning that I was work optional, that I can have the funds to be able to explore, doing what I'm doing right now without having to worry about going back to work, right? And so that was a certain financial number, yes, but it's also, it looked like me being able to be home, homeschooling my kids, still running a business, taking care of my household, right? Those were the things that, the vision that I had for myself. And yes, sometimes that vision can be scary because it's like, all right, yes, I see that this may be a possibility, but you kind of almost want to like back away from it. But that's the time where you want to lean in. You want to lean in and really dig deep and understand, well, what is it that's coming up for you? What is it that is causing that hesitation as to why you don't feel like you can move towards that vision, right? Maybe the goal seems too big. I'm going to tell you right now, low key, when I said I'm going to set out to get $1 million in net worth, back in 2018, I was kind of like, all right, yeah, I want to do this, but I'm not even sure, like, is this even possible? Like, there was a small part of me that was like, is this even possible? But here's the thing, there was a larger part of me that thought, why not? Like, what do I have to lose if I try to work towards this goal, right? And here I am now, 7 years in, at 50% of the way to that million, right? Have I reached the goal yet? No, but I'm on this journey because I had this bigger vision of what this bigger vision is going to do for my life, what this bigger vision is going to do for creating generational wealth for my family, right? Now, obviously, my vision beyond just hitting the million has changed, but the point is, when you give your money direction, when you allow yourself to dream big beyond your current circumstances, then you can look at your finances and determine how you can move it forward so that you are on the path to get towards that vision, right? And if you're picking out what I'm putting down, drop and let me know in the comments, what your thoughts are on this. Because and 2, do you have a vision for your life? Or is your vision clear? Do you have a clear vision for your life? That's also what I want to know, right? Because if you don't have a vision, without that vision, like I said, it is just simply a wish. You're saying to yourself, like, I think I want that. Like you're not 100% committed to, all right, I'm moving towards this goal. This is what I want for my life. Because when you get that vision, then you can put strategy behind it. And that's where your money's going to start working for you. Okay? And this is exactly what I help my clients with. We work together to really uncover, all right, what's happening right now in your life and where it is that you want to go to. One of the things that comes up very often is once we start diving into that vision planning, there's some of these uncomfortable feelings that may come up, and it's like, well, what's going on? Why is it that I don't feel like I can move towards this vision? Or it's like the limiting beliefs, essentially, right? These limiting beliefs that come up, and that's part of what coaching helps you uncover, right? Helps you break free from those limiting beliefs, helps you break free from the things that are keeping you stuck. Because I believe you very well may want to achieve financial freedom. I have no doubt about that, right? But what you may not be aware of is the habits and behaviors of what's happening right now. And a lot of that are some of those subconscious beliefs that's popping up for you that you're not aware of. And that's what coaching helps you do, is uncover, all right, well, what's getting into my way? What's the habits and behaviors that are preventing me from moving forward to achieving the freedom that you desire, right? So that's what I want you to think about. So if you're interested, I invite you to apply for coaching, 90-day one-on-one coaching program where I work with you to help you understand what's happening with your finances right now and helping you map out a plan to move your finances towards the vision that you've set for yourself. Okay? Drop in the comments, let me know. Do you have a vision for your finances? Do you see progress? Right? And if having a vision is something that seems like this big goal that you just can't fathom, let me know that as well. All right? Thanks so much for joining. And if this video resonated with you, remember to hit that thumbs up and let YouTube know that you found this video valuable, and they can send it out to more women to help them on their financial journey. And until my next video, here's to your financial freedom. Peace.